Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Game Up. I'm your host, Gamer K, and it is time for another Top 13 video, and this is a topic I've been wanting to do for a good long while, but just didn't really have a lot of material in order to do it. But that is over. As you could have guessed if you watched last week's ending video joke, basically. Betrayal. It happens in every source of media, whether it be in books, in TV shows, in movies, comic books, and morally in video games. And it is the betrayer that we will be talking about today. The backstabbers and the treacherous schemers of video games make a story all the more interesting, whether it's right off the not right off the bat, because betrayal a big key part of it is the character being so deceptive throughout a majority of the story that you don't see it coming. Some of them are very obvious, like, Bane betraying us in that one mission in Arkham City. Or in, other cases where it's a big plot twist at the end of the game, where someone we thought we could trust was planning on betraying us the entire time. And I'm going to be going over my top 13 video game betrayals. Now, a couple rules here. Obviously, one game per series, only games I have played, and ranking these is going to be a little bit kind of different. Well, and plus I know Josh Scorcher planned on doing a Traitors video sometime in the future, so I wanted to get ahead of the curve so this list can be kind of fresh. Not saying his won't. I'm just saying I don't want to be copying off of him on purpose. But how I'm ranking these from top to top down is the longer the betrayal goes unnoticed throughout the game, the higher the person will rank. That makes it when the reveal hits us, where the impact fully gets us. And the ones that can be the obvious ones, but still have a little bit more impact, will still be higher on the list. So, get out your knives and let's stab some backs. This is Gamer K's Top 13 Backstabbers in Traitors in video games. And why Top 13? Because here on the Game Hub, only the odd can be number one. Let's get to it. For an indie game, I never really expected a lot of, deep story. And I definitely did not see this kind of thing coming from a game like NSR. By the way, forgot to input. Spoiler warning in this video. I'll be talking about the game first, or the series, so that you guys can kind of know if you guys know or not. Spoilers are after we take down Tatiana in her giant tower. Who comes into the tower but our pal Cliff, who sought us out right after our attack on DJ Supernova, and pretty much became our spokesperson and the radio guy to keep us going throughout our crusade to bring rock revolution. And there's not that many cutscenes in this game that would give off that something else is going on other than what we're doing. It turns out Cliff isn't exactly what he seems. And it's not what I originally thought it was going to be when it was revealed either. After the reveal that Tatiana is Kulfira, the rock star that Mayday idolized, and found out that she quit the band and rock and roll in search of EDM, Cliff was her number one fan and got distraught when the band broke up, and that how she turned her back on rock. So, okay, so you were a disgruntled fan. So what? What are you going to do about it? hack into SR's satellite and have it crash into the tower. Am I reading that right? That was his plan? So he used us to backtrack the power source of EDM to rock that will give him access to the satellite? I mean, we kind of saw something to do with the satellite earlier in the game a little bit, but we didn't really think about it. But, what? And Tatiana basically says to him, like, I owe you nothing. And here's the thing. As much as I dislike Tatiana's boss fight, she's pretty spot on as a villain or character nonetheless. She was right about the absurdity of Mayday and Zook's revolution, of how flash it was, but it doesn't have a longevity idea. And she's right to Cliff. She was the rock star. He was just a fan, and she owed him nothing. This is exactly why I love NSR. It has so many different attributes of the music industry, from boy bands being portrayed as robots with no differences, to the child prodigy with the overbearing mother, to this, an overbearing fan who thinks their celebrity that they like owes them everything and should listen to them. And yeah, there are a lot of crazies out there, as the world does know. Cliff's whole switch here, and I mean, he was never in like the big cutscenes or anything, just like the text cutscenes. So nothing could really, I never thought anything was going to come of it. I mean, it sort of slaps out of nowhere, and what happens to him afterwards? Does he get arrested? Does anything happen? I mean, I have no clue. I mean, we don't even get a boss fight with him. We just have to fight a bunch of reprogrammed monsters and give the EDM music people their territories back. So it comes almost out of nowhere. Very little spark. I have no clue what to say more to this. They say only true friendships will never end in betrayal. But it also says so that those you pay to help you out will always betray you if the bid is high enough. And nowhere is that around more than the Watch Dogs series' own fixer-upper, Jordy Chen. As funny as Jordy is, and how much I like him as a character, for the bits he's in the first Watch Dogs, his betrayal, I mean, it was kind of expected. I expected it when we first met him and when we were working with him. I mean, he's a fixer. The only loyalty they have is to the person who gives them the highest green. So while helping Aiden with his crusade, and we finally get to the end and confront Damien in the lighthouse, who makes a surprise but Jordy? And turns the gun on us because someone paid him to get rid of us. Thanks, Jordy! What makes Jordy's betrayal a little bit better is the fact that he returns in the DLC of Watch Dogs 2, where we have to deal with the Bratva, who have hacked into the old school hospital records in order to do a malware, so ransomware, basically. And Jordy follows us, forces us to help him a little bit, and kind of screws us over multiple times by leading us to an area and having a whole bunch of fixers try to take us out because we're competition. And then we see him literally badass his way onto a boat to off the target, and then escapes on a helicopter. Jordy's betrayal isn't one of shock and awe, but you gotta admit, you gotta give a guy credit when he betrays you with style. And the fact that he does it twice in 2 different games. I mean, you forget 1,000 things every day. make sure this is one of them. You goddamn idiot, Michael DeSanta or Michael Townley from Grand Theft Auto 5. There is so much to unpack here in so little time. We all knew what happened. From everything that happened in the game, obviously. From the North Yankton job to everything that happens in the majority of Los Santos. Michael is definitely a traitor, and for once, we get to play as one. He screwed over Trevor multiple times, setting them up to take the fall. With the score going wrong, him working with the FIB, living in witness protection program for 10 years. And one mistake brings his friend Trevor back into his life, where a series of unfortunate events makes the betrayal come to the light. As Trevor figures out what happened, the truth, and we confront each other in Canada to find out that our friend Brad is the one who was in our coffin the whole time. Yeah, Michael basically betrayed his best friend numerous times during this game. Though we weren't even explicit in it until the grander scheme of it happened. Michael's betrayal is something that is so easily discussed in video games. It's one of the lower hanging ones in terms of betrayal, because it's not like oh, gotcha. Because during missions, Dave Norton and us and Michael talk about it, about what fully happened. So the betrayal doesn't really go as far over our heads as one would want. But there are other betrayers on this list that get it further. Michael's just another small stepping stone that gave us a little bit more. God damn it, Michael. Hopefully, the main characters of Grand Theft Auto 6 don't make stupid betrayals like that. Although, now that I'm going to be honest, yeah, we're most likely going to get betrayed one way or another in that game. Just going to say. A sequel of a TV show, of a movie that I love, with characters that have been through thick and thin, and one alternate twist puts a spin on it all. The Back to the Future game was one of the games that really made me love the point-and-click adventure genre. It got me into playing them fully. And without a lot of, this action will have consequences kind of situations. But the one thing I never expected was Doc betraying us. Here's a little bit of context. Mess up in the past, in the 1930s, kind of messes up the future. And by that I mean 1986. Doc Brown is in charge of fucking Hill Valley, and he's made it into something, a utopia of no crime, and everyone's great. Oh my God, no, seriously. But the worst thing is, he's with Edna Strickland. Strickland's sister, who's even more of a nutcase. Everyone wears polo shirts. We drive golf carts. There's no meat. And Biff is nice. Not the intimidating nice of when he was a pushover in number 2 and 3, but program nice. And it's seriously, this is the worst alteration of 1950s, of the 1980s from Back to the Future. I much prefer Biff's version. At least there was women drinking and gambling in there. But overall, I'm getting distracted. We get Doc back on our side for episode 4, but he kind of starts having a little bit of a change of heart because he still has his soft spot for Edna before she went mad nutso. As our plan to break young Emmett and her up, Doc comes to a weird realization that it was science that is what made Hill Valley terrible. So by sabotaging his young self with Edna about his big display at the expo, Edna will push Emmett down a different path away from science. Doc betraying us hit hard because I'm a Back to the Future fan, and I've seen Marty and Doc go through thick and thin in the 3 movies, and they managed to do something that made Doc, I can't even speak anymore. Luckily, the betrayal doesn't go so far, so it was kind of like Cliff's. More shock value and less... Oh, and to get Doc to listen to us when he traps young Emmett in a sphere where it's underwater, we step on a hose, which we're threatening to kill Doc twice just to get him to back off. Damn, video game Marty is a badass. Okay, we're getting into more betrayals that, again, are a little bit more flash value than actual prolonged. And like I said, the longer the betrayal goes unnoticed before the reveal, the bigger the impact and the higher on the list. This one comes from a game that I loved the minute it came out. The reveal was somewhat okay, but still kind of shocking. From The Wolf Among Us, Episode 2, Ichabod Crane. So, we're looking for someone who quite possibly murdered Snow White, but it turns out it was just a troll girl who was glamored to look like her for unknown reason, who we found out she was an escort. Tracing it back to the hotel room where something happened. And, yeah. Turns out Crane was paying her to pretend to be Snow White, to reenact the scene from the book, from the Mundy story, because Crane was obsessed with Snow. Gross. It comes right at the end of episode 2, and then we find him in episode 3, and we kind of get a little bit of payback by roughing him up a little bit, which I'm happy about. But then he's taken away, and we don't see him ever again. So the betrayal is more a betrayal of Snow and his position to Fabletown and all the crooked shit that was going on, and he knew about it and was letting it slide. So it's more of a betrayal, not to the character or us, but it's more of a betrayal of, in the sense of the story. So yeah, this one's a short one. This next entry really hit hard. It hit hard because not just from the kind of shock value that this character gave, but also the kind of extent it gave to the character. Mega Man Star Force has been laughed at as one of the black sheep of the family for the Mega Man series, but god damn it, does it not give us fantastic characters. Patrick Spring. This kid gave us a deep backstory, deep, meaningful moments with the character, and even bigger betrayal. Being one of Geo's first official new friends. Okay, for a little bit more context, Geo was basically a shut-in after his father disappeared in space on a mission. So he hasn't been to school for a long time. His mother didn't want to press it. But he was slowly starting to build up friendships with people like Bud, Luna, Zach, and his obvious pink-haired love interest, Sonia. But Patrick, or Pat as he prefers to be called, was one of the first people to actually befriend Geo to a full extent of a friendship. Even spending a day in one of the locations where Pat kind of tells Geo that the garbage dump on this island is his birthplace. His parents, when he was young, his parents tossed him out like trash, which gave him his deep resentment of people and unwillingness to believe in bonds until he met Geo and decided to form a link brother band with him to solidify their friendship. Only to find out that he is more than meets the eye, as he's also used by the Femian Gemini and his split personality, Ray, who's been attacking us during the later half of the game. And all of this was a trick in order to get the Andromeda key away from Omega Sis. As if Geo wasn't fragile enough at the start of the game, this moment of betrayal shattered him. After the boss fight with Patrick, Pat and Ray, because with Gemini's ability, they were split into two entities, Pat basically says that it was all a con. I mean, and then after the boss fight, Geo felt that betrayal, and he cut all ties with his other friends that he made. I mean, let's be honest. When you're a kid, a young kid, and something like that happens from someone you considered a friend, it's understandable that Geo would want to cut off any other ties to spare himself from that hurt again. For the bit that Patrick was in this game, he left a huge impact. But then he kind of came back when Gemini came back and defended Geo. Great setup, great betrayal. It was done just great. Pancakes. If the thumbnail on that didn't give it away, guys, yeah, number 7 on this list is Goro Akechi from Persona 5. Seriously, the betrayal was somewhat obvious because we already had a betrayal, even though he came in like somewhat middle of the game. And great retconning, guys. This is good retcon where you expose him. So, again, the genius detective that, honestly, I mean, style-wise, I do like his look, but Naoto is the better genius child detective. I'm just saying. But overall, Goro being a traitor was kind of a shock at first. When he joined the gang on threat of blackmail in order to change Sai Nijima's heart. And I do love his persona of Crow. I mean, the white prince attire with the red masquerade mask. I will admit, when I first played Persona 5, I thought this was going to be an obvious deception. But he kind of skated by it a little bit for me. Because his explanation of how he got his persona and everything, when he snuck into Okumura's castle, and he was attacked by shadows, and he didn't want to die until he figured out the truth. Let's be honest, that was a good lie. And then when he talked about the fiend and the black mask, let's be honest, we all thought it was someone else. His betrayal, the scene in the interrogation room, and then the explanation afterwards, how earlier in the game when he said pancakes, when Mona was the one who talked about the building that looked like a pancake. And because people who don't go to the metaverse only hear meows, that means Goro was there way before he said he was. Yeah. I like that they actually introduced that little bit of information, and they actually did it. They didn't just sidestep it into the explanation to make it work. It was actually done right away. And his whole betrayal is even more solidified in the end game, where we fight the amazing Akechi in a cool boss fight, where he reveals his true self, his true motives, and his true disdain for us. But then in the end, he gives up a noble sacrifice. And then Persona 5 Royale kind of retcon, does he actually die afterwards? But overall, Akechi definitely gave us a great reveal, a great side twist, and possibly one of the better rivalries in gaming. Now we're getting into the ones that really had me going. But first, now we're going into the ones that actually had me. While the previous 7-ish entries gave me a great shock value and good twists, these were the ones that went throughout the game and I did not think of it whatsoever. The Yakuza series definitely has its fair share of shocked moments, betrayals. But the one that gets on this list is one that we don't really think about until later in the game. From both sides of the spectrum, with Kiryu and Majima and Goro trying to find Makoto. She tells us the story of how she was sold as a slave, kind of. She always described the guy she remembers, the guy with the green bat tattoo. And honestly, it went right over my head. I kind of forgot about it. I thought it was going to be revealed to be one of the big three guys that we were going for in the beginning. I mean, I knew it wasn't Kuza because we already seen him without a shirt off before, so there was no green bat. But then we see Tachibana's arm during a cutscene with Kiryu, and I start getting worried. And that's revealed that it's her brother. But then near the end of the game, we find out it was his henchman, Jun Oda, the guy who's been working with Kiryu almost the entirety of the game. The level of betrayal there just hit in one of the biggest ways and one of the most important ways of trying to protect her still. Finding out that he wanted to get rid of her before Tachibana found out that Oda's the one who sold his sister all those years ago and resulted in her trauma and blindness. And the green bat tattoo, somewhat of a red herring. Basically, all of Tachibana's guys got that in order to solidify their commitment to him. I didn't think of that. I didn't think there was going to be another green bat. Because, that's such a unique thing for Japanese tattoos. But the confrontation with Oda is also fantastically done, as he gives his life to make sure we get out and to apologize to Tachibana for him. But we really never got the chance. So as far as the betrayal goes, it's more of a betrayal of Tachibana and screwing us over near the end in order to hide what he did. Athena! Holy fucking shit. God of War, how could you do that to us? I've only played 2 and 3. I played 2 with E when we were younger, but 3 was my very first game. Never did I think that the God of Wisdom would fucking screw us in the end. After we kill Athena in the second game, her spirit speaks to us in the underworld in number 3, telling us to reclaim the power within the Pandora's box in order to defeat Zeus. Sends us off on more killing spree in order to get revenge on Zeus. Only we open the box and it's goddamn fucking empty. So we've done all this for an empty box. And then after the big fucking confrontation, Athena returns to us and asks what happened and kind of explains things, which makes sense in a good aspect. Because in the beginning of the game, of the first game, the gods were good to us and helping us. But it wasn't until we opened Pandora's box that shit got real. The evil of the box went after the Olympians and corrupted them into giving into their dark desires, their rage, their overindulgence, their pride, all the sins. But then she explains that the power she put in the box of hope went into Kratos during the fight. And then she demands it back so she can take over the Cretan world as the one true God. You sacrificed yourself to save Zeus. But then, let's be honest, maybe when she died, all of her mortal inhibitions left her body, and she decided to be a spirit, the ultimate god, because of all the other gods dead. So, right at the end, that was her plan, for us to kill the rest of the Pantheon, so she's the last remaining one, as a spirit. So what does Kratos say to all this? Fuck you, bitch, and stabs himself with the blade of Olympus, releasing the power of faith into the world, giving humanity their own choice. Which ends on the biggest cliffhanger in video game history, pun intended. First one, God of War was the main villain. Second one, we became the God of War, and we killed the last God of War. Number 3, God of War became the final villain. God damn it, give the original Greek series this. They were consistent. I am not my brother's keeper. And this betrayal hits so hard considering the events that happened. Uncharted 4, the last of Nathan Drake's story, where after giving up the treasure hunting game, we are reunited with his brother Sam, voiced by the impeccable Troy Baker, asking us to help him find Captain Avery's treasure after what was done in the prologue, telling us that a warlord helped him escape prison in exchange for a good portion of the treasure. And he's been only given a little time to find it. So we help him. With Sully's help, of course, all the while lying to Elena about going on a job while constantly running into Shoreline Armor militia and also Rafe. My bad. Running into Rafe again. And during halfway of the game, Elena finds us and finds out that we lied to her about everything. And yeah, it's a heart-wrenching scene to watch. But Nathan continues with Sam to go find the treasure and go find it. And with a confrontation between Nadine and Rafe, Nathan only asks for a shit cut of the treasure if they help him to get Sam's freedom back. And then something in this, like when I played this game, the scene kind of felt somewhat off to me, like something was going on. And then it's revealed that the guy who broke Sam out was dead for 6 months. And that Rafe's the one who got Sam out. And Sam decided to ditch him and go after the treasure himself and needed Nathan's help. Sam, you got your brother into a life he quit. Made him lie to his wife after so long of them getting back together. And almost ruined their marriage. All so you could find treasure. See, this is the big difference between Nathan and Sam. Nathan was into it for the historical nature of all the treasure and all what happened to the pirates. Sam wanted the treasure. This betrayal really hit. I thought maybe after we did the Hector Alcazar boss fight, when he shows up, and then after he's dead, Sam still wants the treasure just to have the treasure. I thought that's what we were going to get. But to find out that he lied right from the start to us, and after literally seeing his new sister-in-law berate Nathan for lying, knowing that Nathan only did it to save his brother, to save his life. And he still let it happen. I mean, I'm glad they made up in the end, but that cut very, very hard as a gamer. I didn't see it coming. And honestly, that's just the tip of the iceberg now. Because these top three hurt so fucking hard. Yeah, like I said, these top three hurt so much in my heart. Because in series that I love, especially when I can't see what's going to happen or even think about it, the Assassin's Creed series is definitely a big hallmark in my gaming library. It was, other than God of War, it was one of my very first mature video games with the violence, the blood, the mature subject matter. And it's a series I have loved and will continue to love forever. I'm not talking about you. Get out of here. Okay. One exception. And there's been a good amount of betrayals in this series. There's been Horn of Gold in number 4. But I think the one that cut deep, we've had friends betray us. We've had family betray us. Now we have allies. Lucy Stillman's betrayal in Assassin's Creed, the original 4-game series, the original first 4 games, so fucking deep that I didn't even know what happened. From the end of Brotherhood, when that happened, I was fucking dumbfounded. And Brotherhood was my very first game. Once Revelations came out, it came with a digital copy of number 1. So I played that before I played Revelations, and then I bought number 2. I still couldn't believe that happened. That under the influence of the apple, we killed Lucy right in front of our fucking eyes. There was nothing we could do about it. I cried about that because she was such a great character. And plus, freaking Kristen Bell, you know? I mean, wow. This is now 2 things where she's an absolute bitch. This and forgetting Sarah Marshall. Just needed to throw it out there, guys. I just had to throw it out there. But it's not until the DLC of fucking Revelations where we finally find out the truth. After we go through Subject 16's memories in that stupid DLC that honestly should have been done in the main game as a DLC, where we go to certain areas, we unlock certain memories of Subject 16, and then we get to it instead of doing that stupid whatever that was, where we find out Lucy was a Templar who was manipulated by Vidic. After the assassins sent her in undercover, she was twisted into the Templar ideals, where she was supposed to befriend Desmond to gain his trust. All those times in number 1 where we snuck into her thing and where Lucy helped us to look at the Abstergo files and then getting us out and bringing us to Rebecca and Sean during the Ezio story. It was all to safely and find information and for her to bring in the apple and bring it to Warren Vidic. Juno foresaw through this and had us kill her. Oh, wow. It was one of my first big shocks of plot twists in video games. It still hurts. And I hope whatever happens in Shadows in the DLC or in the future Assassin's Creed, don't give us a heartache like that ever again, please. Okay, I'm kind of cheating on this one because there are 4 entries here, but I'm going to go through them quickly. From a game I don't even play, the Criminal Case series, one of my favorite games to watch. Because for me, I don't have the cash to go through this game, all 8 seasons, or the time. So I just love watching the episodes because you still feel the betrayal in the story when you watch these characters. It's like watching a crime show and it turns out someone you really liked from the beginning was a double agent or corrupt. So I'm going to go through the first 4 seasons and the biggest betrayals of them. Great of the character, the betrayal, and how impactfully it hurt. Season 1, Chief Samuel King, basically our boss, who right at the second final area starts getting a little nitty gritty, and then it turns out he's the district's killer. During the game, there are different districts, which gives us different cases, overall story. And the district killer is usually, victim is a previous suspect, killer is usually a previous suspect. But the chief, and when we go to arrest him, he doesn't explain why. Doesn't give us an idea. He just does it. And then the final district is us figuring out that he was working for a secret organization that basically controlled Grimsboro, and they demanded that he kill the victim or else his granddaughter was going to be hurt. So that betrayal hurt. And even watching one of my favorite YouTubers, Pitching Ace 88, go watch his old videos. He's still amazing. And just the reaction we get out of him is, oh my God, it's heart-wrenching. Season 2, Frank Knight. Kind of the same thing. He was our partner for a good majority of the cases. Second to last district. After locking up a bank heist members, the killer of that case tells us that someone in the department kind of helped us. But this one kind of threw me for a loop, though. Even though the evidence pointed to Frank, and he is convicted of killing the person, I always believed it was his ex-wife, Karen, who, during the trial, kidnaps our chief and demands Frank to be let go, that she's the one that stole the plutonium that they needed. So I think it was Karen who did it, but the reason we believed it was Frank didn't really add up. But it's never really revealed one way or the other. He betrayed us because his daughter was sick, and Karen believed that this sociopathic Albert Tesla could help her with the virtual program thing. It's weird. But yeah, Frank's really hurt. Season 3, Angela Douglas, our coroner. In this district, we went around the world trying to stop a world terrorist organization, a secret organization, Sombra, from taking over the world. Of course. And later we find out that Angela was an agent all along, and she was the mole that appeared during the Africa area. That everything, her getting into the Bureau, was all part of her programming and her mission. Only thing that she didn't count on was falling in love with our lab tech Lars and having 3 daughters with him. It was the one thing she did that wasn't in her programming. And then she comes out in the final case and tries to blow up the Bureau as part of her mission. After everything is said and done, she begs Lars to forgive her and let her get away. But Season 4, Justin Lawson, Mysteries of the Past. A district attorney whose fiance was murdered by thugs. We help him throughout the series with his cases, him becoming the lead prosecutor, him becoming the judge, then becoming interim mayor, and then after we take down the Rochesters, the big villains of the series, Justin declares martial law and becomes a dictator, screwing us and making everything terrible. Oh my God. All 4 of these betrayals hit on a level that hurts fucking deeply. And the reason all 4 of them are on number 1 is because I couldn't pick between the 4 of them. But none of them have anything on number 1. You know, I'm a guy who usually learns from my mistakes. I think something's going to happen in a game or a show and it doesn't happen, or something goes right over my head. I learn my lesson. After the big kind of twists in other games I've played, I've grown smarter and try to analyze every goddamn thing. Because a lot of things make me do that. Not wanting to look stupid, not wanting to be the smart guy and try to figure out the big twist. Because I'm one of those guys. And when something really gets me, I try to make sure it doesn't happen again. Like, let's say the betrayal of Lucy Stillman. From Assassin's Creed. I made sure to double check every character from now on. To make sure I didn't have a betrayal like that ever again get by me. Because Shadows kind of didn't really surprise me that much. A lot of the moments with Yasuke near the end, I didn't expect. But not more surprise worthy. Okay, that's a lie, some of it. But what I mean is, when a game series gets me once, I make a vow never to let that happen again. Because one game series got me really good, as it got almost the entirety of the fan base. So I vowed that it was never going to happen again if they did another game. Well, you know the old saying, fool me once, shame on me. No, wait, it's fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. Or in this case, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on you, Deck 9!
Chad, why are you sad?
Oh my God! How? How did they do it twice? They fucking got me twice! And I was looking for it this time! I was looking for the betrayal. I was looking for the one person who would be screwing us in the end. The worst thing about it is they spelled it out for us again! I'm sorry, but this pissed me the hell off of how they got me again. With Jefferson, they explained it right at the get-go, and they laughed about it. They laughed about it on our faces. They laughed it off. Ha ha ha. Episode 4 comes around, and bang! Fuck! And then... Life is Strange, True Colors. A game that helped me get over a lot of emotional baggage. Episode 3. the LARPing section, where Jed is the king that sends us out on our quest, and then turns out he was the boss fight at the end, who was the evil villain of the story. I'm like, wow, that was kind of good. Like, it was a good twist for the LARPing game. And then episode 4 comes around. Yes! Jed Lucan is the #1 traitor and backstabber in gaming. This guy, oh my God. From threatening us to covering up what happened. Yes, I am rightfully pissed off that they not only got me twice, but they did it in a clever way that made me think, oh my God, Jed's the villain in the LARPing. Oh my God, Jed's the fucking villain. True colors, we learned throughout talking to people that Jed led a bunch of Helldivers into the mines and some of it collapsed, but he was managed to save a bunch of men, and Jed was rewarded and celebrated in the town. At the beginning of episode 5, we find out that during the game, we find out that Typhon, the business that basically is watching everyone, is trying to bury something there before a big inspection. What are they trying to bury? The dead souls that Jed left behind. One of which was Alex and Gabe's father. So it turns out Jed was responsible for the death of 2 members of the Chen family. And then the confrontation at the hall meeting, where we stumble in bloody and bruised. And if you did your due diligence with everyone in the group, you better have taken your time playing the game, because you kind of need Ducky's help. So go talk to him in the bar during episode 4, you idiots. Because you're going to need him. Jed openly denies everything. And then the final confrontation is fantastic. We use our ability to pierce into his mind about how he feels. And Jed tries to resist. But he forgot what happened. He decided to plaster over it that he is a hero. He's a good man. Like this scene with Alex bringing the truth out to Jed is a powerful scene. I've been wanting to talk about this moment for years, but I just needed the list to do it. And this is the perfect list. And at the end of it all, Jed breaks down after all the guilt, the shame, everything he's done to cover up what he did. Just breaks out in bawl and just lets all that anguish and all that hate for himself out. And it's a gut-wrenching fucking moment that does so well. Because there's no better justice for a traitor like that than for him to fully face what he's done and to let it all come out publicly. This list gave me so much anger. And I'm glad about it. I got it out of my system. That's this list, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoyed my ranting. Hopefully none of you were wearing headphones during some of those moments. I apologize. Like, comment, subscribe down below, and join me next time, where I end the month of May as we're back into the villainous game, but this time, we are going deep into the jungle to kill in order to gain the throne. What do you mean it's too ambiguous? Come on, go into the jungle seeking revenge and to obtain the crown. How could that be Wait. Oh, okay. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I can kind of see that. It's this one. This is Gamer K, logging out.